Our second example is graphing a quadratic inequality that is in standard form. So we might have to remember a bit more information than we needed to on our first example that was in vertex form. So first we're going to find the axis of symmetry. And remember that's x equals negative b over 2a. So my b in this case is negative 2. The opposite of that is 2 over 2 times a, which is 1. So again, the axis of symmetry of x equals 1. Remember, that means that our vertex occurs somewhere along that line. So our x-coordinate of our vertex is 1. So we're going to substitute that into the function to figure out what the y-coordinate of our vertex is. So in this case, we get 1 minus 2 is negative 1, minus 15 is negative 16. So our vertex is 1, negative 16. And then we need our y-intercept. So we substitute 0 for x, which is negative 15. Alright, since my graph is only a 10 by 10, I'm going to go ahead and count this by 2's to get my vertex and y-intercept plotted. So I'm going to go over 1 and down 16. My y-intercept is at 0, negative 15. I'll flip that across the x-axis. And the other thing that I want to do, because those points are so close together, and I'm going to have a hard time figuring out exactly where my parabola goes the further away it gets from the vertex, I'm going to go ahead and find my x-intercepts as well. So the first thing I want to do is check to see if my graph or my function factors. So this, because the leading coefficient is 1, is a t-chart method. What multiplies to negative 15 and adds to negative 2, that would be negative 5 and 3. So I can go ahead and factor it. And then remember, the x-intercepts occur when y equals 0. So this is our zero product property. We're going to set each piece equal to 0. So x equals 5 and x equals negative 3. So if I plot those as well, that'll give me a little bit more to aim for when I'm graphing. Alright, and before I graphed, I should have asked myself, is it solid or dotted? And in this case, it is dotted. So I am going to redo my parabola. That's better. Alright, and then we need to test a couple of points and shade where it's true. So I'm going to test 0, 0, which is inside my parabola this time. And I'm going to go ahead and test 8, 0, which is outside my parabola. So substituting those into the function, I had y is, forgot the direction, less than, I'm going to write it down quick so I can see it again. So substituting 0 in for each of these. Is 0 less than negative 15? No. So it looks like we will be shading outside our graph this time, but let's just double check 8, 0 real quick. Substituting 0 for y and 8 for x. Is 0 less than 64 minus 31, which will be positive, so yes. And we're going to go ahead and shade outside our graph this time. And last is your U-try problem.